Hey, lovely to see you. It's amazing to have you here for this amazing webinar. Break through your own installed glass ceiling. The three tactics from the three brains, your head, your heart, and your gut. Scientifically proven that you have three brains and they are responsible for your success, your failure, your new startup, your success leadership, success in personal life. So let's get started for this and really make it amazing for you. We always thought our head is the only one, and maybe we can tilt a little bit that idea and that you have to come aware of the other ones. Who am I? Just a little bit introduction who I am for 30 seconds. I'm an executive coach. I'm a visiting professor at the Business School Madrid. I'm a supervisor for coaches and therapists. I'm a clinical psychotherapist, hypnotherapist. 30 years in the field, always helping other people to make them excel. Worldwide, 10,000 people. As I born and raised in the Netherlands, as you can hear, I lived 9 years in Australia, so I worked in that whole area. Now living in Spain and touching almost the whole world. Founder of the Three Brains Intelligence certification training, how you actually learn to coach people, your employees, your clients, people around you, using the Three Brains concept. And I'm a writer or author of the book Relationships, Which Brain is Talking, a general book about every relationship you have in your life and how you actually can make it better, excel, flourish. That's me. And when we talk about three brains, I think we all know it, is it not? But have you ever said or heard, follow your heart? Why don't you just follow your heart? Or why don't you just trust your gut? Why is that actually? And why do you say all those kind of things? Why did you hear all those kind of things? Are they true? Do they have truth? Or is it just something like an blah blah we do? And just curious, when you listen to this webinar, who of you had somewhere in their life a moment of regret of a decision and said, I should have followed my heart? Or maybe I just sort of followed my gut feeling. It felt like it was not right. Or maybe even, no, I should have thought a little bit longer about it before I really jumped in. Isn't it interesting that in our common life, we already say those things without actually being aware it has an amazing lot of wisdom in us. And many leaders, successful leaders, politicians, sporters, actually always say, I followed my heart or my gut or my head when I made that decision. They actually trusted to achieve. And why are they successful? Because actually they are so aligned that they know they can follow the right decision. Because what's the issue with our three brains? Now just imagine you have a compass. I think you all know what a compass is. You have a north, magnetic north. That's all good. When our three brains are the same, you can really trust your decisions. The moment things happened in your life, if no upbringing, limiting beliefs, experiences, etc., it could happen that you have an other magnet in your compass and it actually goes there. And on that moment, you actually cannot trust on that moment your inner voices. First, you have to get rid of this one, so it can go back again, and you know, hey, this is what I should follow. And what's the difference between most of us and those extremely successful people? They know when to follow actually their three brains. And if you think, okay, what does it mean for us if we don't do it? Who of you ever had issues with procrastination, eating unhealthy, setting boundaries or saying no? Communications, hard decisions, bad news you had to share with employees or colleagues, and you really had an feeling about it and actually could not do it. Or maybe depression and anxieties. Those are all symptoms. Our three brains are actually not aligned. We don't access all the three wisdom centers we have. Because if you ask who's actually in charge of you when you make these decisions of procrastination, eating unhealthy, not setting boundaries, not communication of hard decisions or bad news, or you have depressions and anxieties, who's in charge of that? Because nobody wants that actually. And we all know it's not wise to do so. But if we all know it and we still don't do it, it means somebody else is in charge of us, and that's not your head. What are the main 3 tactics I'm going to share? And we go deeper in that. Oh, sorry. Know which brain is leading you, your compass. Secondly, start listening to all 3 of them. And 3, make an aligned decision for the topic at hand. And why are all those things so important? And let's just go to a little bit of research we've seen through the world. Everybody knows when you have a company, employee engagement is critical. If you now look at the last 20 years of research of the Gallup organization, you will see that in the US and globally, there's not a massive success rate in that. You can say, oh, wow, it went from 12 to 21 or from 26 to 30. Wow, that's massive change. But it's still on a scale from 1 to 10, it's still a 2 or a 3. Now, I don't know how it was for you on school, but if I got a 2 or a 3, but sometimes I got as being dyslexic, you really fail. You really are not good enough. It shows really bad. And only companies who really follow the advices and ideas of the Gallup organization also wrote in the book From Good to Great, somewhere can have a score of 7. And you can actually increase, as you can see. So that's why it's so important also to do the right things. But also you can see many companies don't do so good. That's actually an opportunity for you, because that means the competition is not so good. The competition in their companies are actually having a bad company. Opportunities for you. We also know that mental health is a key for success. And especially now, after the Zoom period, the COVID time, it's much more in awareness. Now, if you look at that again globally, it's also something that we really should say, oh, wow, what's happening here? Only 1 out of 3 employees are thriving. The rest is struggling or suffering. Now, if that's your team, I don't know how it's with you, you don't win. Just imagine this is your soccer or water polo or volleyball team or baseball or whatever sport you like to do. You know you would not win. But for companies, it's almost normal. So you have an opportunity, because if this is your competition, you can beat them. If it's your company or your team, you have an issue. Why is it so extremely important, the 2 things I just said, engagement and mental health? Because also research shows of McKinsey that high performers do 800% more than average performers. So just imagine you have the other 2 right, boom, what it does for your company. Freaking amazing, awesome. Or if you all portray it on yourself, what it would do for you as a person. If your mental health is good, you don't suffer, but you actually thrive. Or when actually you feel engaged in what you do. If it's now your personal life, your relationship, your hobby, whatever. Just imagine what kind of success you have. 800% more than before. What's now the issue with many of us, and also of leaders, are self-awareness. 80% thinks they're doing good. We all think, we're not so bad, we're doing good. Maybe not perfect, but we're doing good. But if you would ask people around you, especially leaders, only 25% says, but I got a good leader. There's a massive gap to what we think and how we are perceived. And actually your 3 brains are actually also in part of that. Self-reflection is not the best of one of your brains, say your gut brain. Self-reflection and gut brain are no friends. It's okay, let's go back. Which brains are we talking about? Is that the top 1 tactic? Know which brain is leading you. So let's do just a little bit of test to become aware. Hey, how's your preference? What do you choose? Just imagine you work for a company. The company is making a severe loss. There's an urgent need to take action. The board decided of your team, that is 10 employees, 5 have to be made redundant. All your 10 employees have the same level of competences. There's the text. The board actually gives you 4 options, just as an idea to give to help you out. The first one, they say, you let go of the 5 older employees. It's the best choice for production as the job is fiscal. It also means, based on their age, that these 5 employees will never find a job again. It will have a severe negative effect on their income and their finances, and probably also their personal life after that. Second option they gave to you is, hey, you just let go of the 5 younger employees. It's also good. They'll find a job easily based on their age and experience, meaning everybody has employment. May only not in your thing. The third one, they say, okay, let's go for a well-known management ID, LIFO. Last in, first out. It's not age-related. 5 employees already worked more than 15 years for the company. The 5 others entered the last 2 years, based on that idea they had of we going to grow like a hockey stick, what a lot of companies have, based on that self-awareness that we just discussed. It means your team will have 3 older and 2 younger employees. The fourth option, they say, you can say you don't support any of these options and now start thinking by yourself. What's the best one? What would you choose? Well, just choose now. A, B, C, D. Thanks. You know what's the funny part? I did this exercise and this test something like almost 2,000 times. 95% of the hard brain dominant people will choose C or D. 95% of the gut brain dominant people will choose A. So which brain is leading you is extremely important for actually decisions you make in your company, in your personal life, in all the things that matter. Because if you don't think about it, you choose one and you stay always with one. If you like to know what is my dominance, you can. You just take out your phone now, put them on camera, make a little picture of this. You go to my website and you can do a free assessment. It takes you something like 5 minutes, max 10, and you get it sent back. No strings attached, free, it's all good. But to give you an insight, hey, which brain is actually dominant in my normal life? That is extremely important if you like to make decisions. Even all the old books, the I Ching said, know yourself. Okay, say, okay, I know this all, but where can I find help? Where can I find support in all my decisions? Say you run a company. The beauty is, I did some research. What is the success rate of the externals, of all the advices you get? And there's a difference between success rate and happiness rate. Happiness rate is just after you had an intervention, how happy you are with what they did. Success rate is after 6 months or 1 year, you measure what you once wanted to achieve. Is it still there? Now, that is rather, I could almost say, shocking if you see the numbers. McKinsey, Boston Consulting Group, Accenture, all those beautiful companies, they will have a success rate of less than 40%. Based on research from the Gallup organization, IBM, and McKinsey by itself, culture change projects between 26 and 41% success rate. Agile, less than 40%. McKinsey claims up to 75% success rate if you follow their 100% steps. So still they don't dare to say 100% success rate. Because we deal with people. And we don't know actually, or they don't, but we don't know actually what makes people change or tick. If you go now to a psychologist after my story, say, I have an issue, the average of a psychologist is 35% success rate, based on even their own research. And of course, they average, it depends which topic you have. Schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, it can have a difference. There's a difference between 50 and 15%, or 15 and 50%, what you like to say. Business coaching like I am, they say it's something like 50%. It could say, why is it better than psychology? Because the topics are most times easier, lighter. It's about decision making in your company, what to do, what not to do. And you create more an awareness point of it. And the success is based off, do we know what's happening? If you go to a life coach, now you see the numbers, make your own decision. If you go to clinical hypnotherapy, it has a higher success rate. If you go to the simple things like stop smoking, it could even be higher than 65%. Of course, if you go to more stronger points like depression again, it can lower. But still, it has a high success rate. Why is that? And we don't go really in depth in this presentation, because all the things you learned in your first 7 years of your life, you almost learned in hypnotic state. Actually, your heart and gut were totally stuffed. There's all the things about relationships, dealing with conflict, how to connect with people, how to feel when it is rejected, how to please, how to get your things done, all the basic relationship issues. When we do hypnotherapy, we can access that part again, do changes. When you do, say, the other ones we just discussed, it's most times talk therapy. So you stay here. If, of course, you make it simplified. Let's be honest in that. The last one, what I say, all those guru books almost describe, and micro habits and all this kind of stuff, they always talk about repetition. Oh, this is the idea. Now you have to do it for 3 months, every day, half an hour. The success rate is 8%. Why is that? Because it's 9 out of 10 done on willpower. And willpower is coming from here and can almost never overrun this one. Only if you're a gold medalist, a top sporter, extremely disciplined, you can do it from nature. And that's not a lot. If you'd like to see a little bit more about it, you just Google Strava, the Strava app from the sport app. You become aware they have, call it Quitters Day. The 1st or 2nd of January, many people step up. 2 weeks later, they all crash out again. Because to change yourself, to create a habit, you need between 21 and 36 days. According to research of NASA, the guys who sent people up to the moon and into space. So they are extremely curious about what do we need to do to change the habit of those people we sent into orbit. They say it takes 21 to 36 days to change a habit, and you need to be doing it every day, focused 30 minutes. So not having your headphone on, listening to music and while you do something, but really a Zen focus to do that. And people don't last. Because your normal life gets in the way. In the moment you skip one day, you can almost add an extra couple of days, 3, 4, 5, to overcome it. So if you skip one day, it's not, say, on average 30 days, it becomes 35 days. You skip another day, it becomes 40 days. Skip another day, it becomes 50, 55 days. And people just fall off the bandwagon. Hence, know your own brains. And if you think about success, you come later to that, what to do with it. Another top 1 tactic, start listening to all 3 of them. That makes sense, you would say, but what do we really mean with it? Now, there are some science facts about the 3 brains. Of course, up to now I say just we have 3 brains, but is it actually true? Now, science facts are there. The gut brain has 500 million brain cells. Neurobiologist Michael Gershwin wrote a book about it, The Second Brain, in the 90s, after 30 years of research. What does your gut brain wants to do? That's a little thing underneath your diaphragm. That's actually a whole enteric part. Say, if I look at a video there, it likes to keep you alive. There's an extremely criminal brain that likes to do that by personal success or safety. Being number 1 in the list helps you to survive better. and it likes to create safety in all the structures it does. How do you notice it when your gut brain is actually communicating with you? You have a fear, anger, rage sensation, lust or desire, because we still need to reproduce and we need sometimes to get something. And the lust to win, the lust to get something. Hunger and disgust, of course. Otherwise, we would not nurture ourselves, we would not feed ourselves, drink something, and we would die on short notice. And this actually research, your gut brain can act totally independently from the rest of your body. That's researched. If you'd like to know more of it, later in the presentation, I give you my link. You can just read about it just once, get more information about it. Your other brain, your heart brain, is researched by neurocardiologist Andre Amour. It has less brain cells, but it is freaking amazing strong. Because besides the neurotransmitters we use for communication, and the gut brain, the heart brain can release neurotransmitters. Your gut brain is responsible for 90% of your autoimmune system, produces all the neurotransmitters to keep you safe and healthy. The heart brain also produces or synthesizes oxytocin, the love hormone for connection. To keep us alive, your heart brain takes care of bonding, takes care that you're being liked. It takes care that other people like you, and it takes care that you connect with other people. Why is that so important? When you and I were born, we were totally helpless. Just imagine you were born and your caregivers or parents would say, no, we're not going to take care of you. How much chance of survival would you have? Zero. A giraffe, a gnu, somewhere in the savannah, they can run by themselves in half an hour. We take many years somewhere to be partly independent, to survive. So bonding is for us the major instinct to stay alive. And so that means we can notice it by love, compassion, hate, sadness, guilt, shame, also the values of good and wrong. Everything that connects is being connected or protection from connecting. Your heart brain, you already saw it, it was already there. It's the latest invention of evolution, of biology, something 5 million years old. And I talk about the neocortex, so that matter on top of us, what they call the gray matter. That is it. Because the reptiles have the same DNA set up to produce actually all the three brains in our head. And the old days say, oh, everything is done in the head, reptilian brain, mammal brain, and also the neocortex brain. Actually is not true, because a reptilian could theoretically produce the same if the epigenetics, the release of how the DNA gets somewhere activated, would do the same. So this one, as we have in total setup, is a more than 100 million year old, when the first dinosaurs came to this earth. The only thing is, as we have it now, it's 5 million years old. 100,000 million brain cells in that layer there. Again, it likes to keep us alive. Why does it take 20% of our energy consumption? And why do we have memories? Only for one thing, make a better prediction of the future. If I know what happened yesterday, if I know what my boss said, if I know what my client said, I can do it next time better. That's why we have such a big brain. Cause and effect analysis. It's also the only part in our body that knows tomorrow and yesterday. What it likes to do, how can we become aware this one is active? It likes to learn, to create, to understand, to reason, to predict, but also to judge, to keep it safe. And time and words are unique for this part. So when I communicate, you can even become aware which brain is talking. Because if I have sensations from my heart, like, oh, this is not good for my relationship. Or when I say, I cannot digest this. Actually, I use words to verbalize my sensations and the thought process of my heart or my gut in that moment. So actually, we can become aware which brain is talking. And from which brain is talking, you can become aware, how can we coach people? How can we coach yourself? What blocks now our change and success rate to really make it happen, if you look at that? And why is it so important to work from your three brains if you make a decision? Now, what you just said, your head brain likes to analyze, give a perfect answer, and hates mistakes. That's actually what it likes. It wants to give the right prediction. Your heart likes to take care of others, of you first, and hates rejection. It likes to belong. Your gut likes to win, is me first, hates vulnerability. It's about personal success. Now, if you now see these three things, what do you notice? The three objectives or responsibilities of our three brains are not the same. The highest one, of course, is keep us alive, but the ways how they do it are different. So if you make a decision by one brain, not to a three, you stay reflectively loyal to their biology, so right prediction, belong, and personal success, or to your first 7 years of life where you learned all your habits and beliefs. How you deal with things. The result in a lot of times is pain or failure or regret. Because you think, I should have thought this through. Oh, shit, I should have done it differently. Okay, from there to the last top one tactic, because I didn't call them 1, 2, 3, but then it would be like one is more important than the others. They're all three equal important. Make an aligned decision from your three brains for a topic at hand. Because I said it already, but this is rather important right away. What are the strengths and pitfalls of your three brains? As I said, the mindset of the gut is actually winning. If you like to be a gold medalist, if you like to be number one, if you like to achieve, if you like to bite the bullet, if you like to put 100% effort in it, you need your gut. It also releases cortisol, it releases adrenaline to put you all the energy in there. What's the pitfall if you only follow your gut brain? It's always me first. You cannot get a gold medal if you say to the other, oh, you also train so hard, maybe you should do one step faster. It doesn't work. In nature, it makes sense. If the lion doesn't get its prey, it will not eat and it will die. So it's only a me first. The gut brain does not think in taking survivors. It always goes for the kill. What's the biggest fear of the gut brain in our human behavior is vulnerability. Why is that? Because if I'm vulnerable, I have to depend on somebody else. And I don't know if that somebody else is taking my needs first. The heart brain, it's all about taking care. Taking care so I can bond. What is the pitfall of that behavior? It's always you first. People who have a dominance in the heart brain always say to me, everybody's happy, but in the end of the day, I'm totally depleted. I cannot do my own things. I don't have time or energy anymore to do the things I really like. It's always helping somebody else. In research, it also shows that people who have a real high dominant heart brain are much more prone for diseases. What's the biggest fear? Rejection. You cannot get a heart brain more annoyed by rejection. And that also makes sense because our biology, rejection means death. So our biology says, I don't want to be rejected. Now, the biology is right, only now living in the 20th century, life is different. But the biology still rules. The head, I said, loves to analyze. It likes to give a perfect answer. It also really dislikes mistakes. As you can see, if you really want to be successful in whatever you do, if there are relationships, work, personal life, if you like to have achievements, if you like happiness, if you like to have health, if you like to have wellness, you need your three brains all together. Because you need to think about me first if you think about health, you first if you like to have a relationship, and if you like to do something, you need to have a perfect answer. sometimes. Otherwise, you make a mistake. You're not going to build a bridge and think, I know some calculations are not totally perfect, but let's see how it works out. Of course, then the bridge collapses with all the collateral damage of there. So you need all three of them to make it happen. What happens if you don't listen to me and say, no, I just follow whatever I did, Chris. Nice your story, but whatever happens. Leaders of one ship, disasters of one ship, one brain leadership. Use the words right. I love my own dyslexia sometimes. If you have an one brain leadership and a head brain leadership, I need to know, you will find in your company or team micromanagement, perfectionism, and process and system focus. That's not a flexible, client-oriented organization most times, where people really can engage and are being heard. If it's a hard brain dominated leadership, I need to stay connected. What will happen a lot of times? They deliver gold and get paid silver. So your profit and loss and your figures are not the best. You have a pleasing culture. So everybody somewhere is sweet to each other and you avoid the hard topics. That means there's a lot of unproductive people in your company because nobody tells them actually the truth, how they are perceived and how they work and what they do. It also means that conflicts are not discussed because we like to please everybody. So we don't learn from how we can work better. Of course, just accept and bend a little bit over. Doesn't work. If you have much more gut-brain leadership, what will happen? Yes, probably you profit in the 3/4 results are better. On the other hand, you have toxic leadership. There's pushy leadership. There's really a focus on short term. So we have to get our figures now. And I need my promotion now. But as you could read already in the Great Gallup Organization book of 20 years ago, companies like that don't have a long-lasting life cycle. They will just burn out because people will leave and only some leave. And it's extremely power-driven. If you think about your personal, because I talk now about leadership, what happens to you if you only use one brain? You get perfectionist, anxiety, insomnia. If you let your head be dominant for you. If you like to be your heart be dominant for you, you get burnout, depression, chronic diseases, sooner or later. If you follow your gut too much, it means nobody will take you back. You'll have anxiety, probably trust issues, and you're control driven. Just a little example, if you think, Chris, I have issues believing you, etc., etc., etc. Let's make an example of the richest man in the world, Elon Musk. I put the whole text in there because it's freaking amazing. On one moment, he made the decision that he wanted to move all the computer servers to another location based on cost. He steamrolled over all the refusal of the employees. He said, I decide this is the best, cost has to be done. They refused actually to help him so much. So what he did, he dragged actually family and friends to actually cancel the Christmas, drove them to Sacramento. He personally disconnected the servers from the cables with a security pocket knife. It's a real story. He called in a team of employees and let all the servers be moved to the other place. The employees who had threatened actually to fire based on their refusals and other ideas actually had been right. The move caused glitches in the Twitter's software, or X software we have to say now. And actually, maybe you know the presidential candidate Ron DeSantis from Americas, he would present his nomination on X or Twitter. It went up and down and it had glitches in the whole presentation. That was one of the results. So a high perceived thing crashed because Elon Musk only followed one brain instead of thinking from, hey, maybe I should connect with my other brains to see what's happening from the outside. There was only gut and head that was actually happening there. I actually only got that was happening there. What is Three Brains leadership for yourself and for others? Follow your heart brain, follow your head brain, and follow your gut brain. For me, for us, and make the most logical decision. If not, you go to one of those three sites. Short term will be maybe amazing. Long term, you will suffer. Thank you so much for all your time, your attention, your following, and etc. etc. If you'd like to know more, you take a Canon camera, make a little click, you can read about it. I would always say it's the cheapest solution to know more and make your life much, 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 much better in all areas. Personal, relationship, work. If you like to stay connected, please do so. You can follow me on LinkedIn or connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram. And of course, you can always go to my website, Three Brains Intelligence, or connect with me via email, Christoffel@threebrainsintelligence. Love to hear your questions or your ideas or other kind of things. I love to hear also, what do you really got out of this presentation, webinar, and how did it make your life better, or maybe the life of your people around you, your company? Love to hear that. Have a beautiful day.